Hello everyone, welcome back to your physics class. I hope you all are good. In the previous video, we have revised the different types of motion, and today we will start with the next topic of revision, that is scalar and vector quantities. So scalar and vector quantities are the types of physical quantities, or we can say that there are two types of physical quantities known as scalar quantities and vector quantities. So let's see what are scalar quantities. The physical quantities which can be expressed only by their magnitude or can be described only by their magnitude. Magnitude means numerical value, but not by direction, that are called scalar quantities. That means which require only magnitude to express them, but they don't need any direction, that are known as scalar quantities. For example, mass, distance, time, density, area, volume, temperature, speed, all these are scalar quantities. How mass is scalar quantity? Because when we have to define mass, or when we want to express mass of any object, then we require only magnitude, its magnitude and its unit. The unit of mass is kilogram, gram, and any other units that we need only, but there is no direction associated with mass, so it is a scalar quantity. Distance is also scalar because, as you know, distance is just the length covered by an object in any direction, or we can say that there is no any specific or particular direction associated with it, so that's why it is a scalar quantity. Time is also a scalar quantity. Density, area, volume, all these are scalar. Temperature is also scalar because there is no direction associated with these quantities. Speed is also scalar because it is the ratio of distance per unit time. As distance and time are scalar, so it is also a scalar quantity. So next are the vector quantities. The physical quantities which are expressed by both magnitude and direction are known as vector quantities. That means which require both magnitude and direction to express them are called vector quantities. For example, displacement, velocity, acceleration, force, weight, all these are vector quantities. How displacement is a vector quantity? Because displacement is the shortest distance covered by an object in a particular direction, so it is a scalar vector quantity because direction is associated with it. Velocity is also vector quantity because velocity is the rate of change of displacement with time. Acceleration is the rate of change of velocity per unit time, so acceleration is also vector quantity because velocity is vector quantity. Force, we all know that it is a push or pull applied on the objects, so that push or pull can be applied in any particular direction, is applied in a particular direction. For example, if we want to push this object, then this object is being pushed in a particular direction, so that's why we can say that we are applying force in a particular direction. That's why force is a vector quantity. And as we know, weight is the force with which the bodies are attracted towards the surface of earth, so it is also vector quantity because force is also vector quantity. So this is about scalar and vector quantities. Next is the concept of distance and displacement, or we can say that what is the difference between distance and displacement. So for this we will consider a situation. For example, if you want to go from your home to school, then you can follow some path to go from home to school. Let home be the initial point, that is at point A, and school be the final point. This is the final point where you want to go, and it is at point B. So when you follow this path, then you will cover 300 meters. That means 300 meters traveled by you from home, that is the initial point, to the final point. This is the actual distance covered by you. This is the distance covered by you. But if we talk about displacement, that is the shortest possible distance from home to school, and that shortest possible distance to the school can be obtained by drawing a straight line between home and school. So this is known as the displacement. That is, we can say that is 120 meter. We have just consider it that it is 300 meter and it is 120 meter, because distance will always be greater than displacement. As we know, displacement is the shortest distance, so it will be less than the distance. So this is the displacement. So how we can define distance and displacement? Distance is the actual length covered by an object or length traveled by a moving object, but displacement is the shortest possible distance between the initial and final point. And as we know that there is a particular direction in while covering the shortest distance from initial point to final point, so displacement is a vector quantity. That means the direction is associated with the displacement. So this is about distance and displacement. But there is one difference between distance and displacement, that distance is a scalar quantity but displacement is a vector quantity, as we have now learned that direction is also associated with displacement, so it is a vector quantity, but distance is scalar quantity. But the common thing is that the SI unit of both distance and displacement is same, that is meter, because both these are length, so that's why the SI unit is same, that is meter. Next is some numericals based on the concept of distance and displacement. First is an object moves 8 kilometers from point A to point B and then 6 kilometers from point B to C. Now we have to find out the distance and displacement. So what will be the total distance or the distance covered by the object in going from point A to C? Firstly, object will move from A to B. That means he will cover 8 kilometers. So distance will be equal to AB plus BC. AB is 8 kilometer and BC is 6 kilometers. So it will be total equal to 14 kilometers. Next is the displacement of the object. As we know, displacement is the shortest distance between 2 points. This is the initial point and this is the final point where the objects want to go. So AC is the displacement here, and that will be equal to the distance between A and C, that is equal to AC. And we know this is like a right angle triangle. So according to Pythagoras theorem, we can write here that hypotenuse square is equal to base square, this is base, BC square plus perpendicular square, AB square. So we can write AC is equal to under root of AB square plus BC square, that will be equal to 8 square plus 6 square. So it will be equal to under root of 100. When we will take root of 100, then that will be equal to 8 kilometers. So AC will come equal to 10 kilometers. Sorry, it is 10 kilometers. Next is Raman moves along the perimeter of a rectangular field and he takes 4 rounds and returns to its starting point A. So we have to find out the distance and displacement covered by him in going from 4 rounds. So firstly we can see that this is a rectangular field, and we will firstly find out the distance covered by Raman in one round. So one round means in going from A to B, B to C, C to D, and then coming from D to A. The distance covered in one round can be written, it is equal to 3 plus 1, 3 meter plus 1 meter plus 3 meter, because this is the rectangular field. So if this distance is equal to this distance and plus 1 meter, because it is also the same, so it is equal to 3 meter plus 1 meter plus 3 meter plus 1 meter, that is equal to 8 meter. Or we can write in this way that 2 times multiplied by 3 plus 1, it will be equal to 8 meter. So next is the distance moved in 4 rounds, because this is the distance in one round. In 4 rounds we will multiply 8 by 4, that will be equal to 32 meter, because that means in 4 rounds Raman have covered 32 meters. Now what about displacement? As we know, A is the starting point, that means A is the initial point, and after 4 rounds Raman again comes back to the point A. That means A is the final point also, so it means initial and final points are same, so the displacement will be 0, because there is no shortest distance between the same points. That means the displacement will be 0. Next is the concept of speed. So what is speed? Speed is the rate of change of distance, or we can define it as the distance traveled by an object per unit time. That means speed can be written as distance covered divided by time taken. That means in a given time, what amount of distance or how much distance is covered by an object, that is known as speed. The symbol of speed is V and distance covered is S and time taken is T. So we can write it as in a mathematical form, V is equal to S over T. The SI unit of speed is meter per second, because the SI unit of distance is meter and time is second, so it is meter per second. And in CGS units, the unit of distance is centimeter, so it will be equal to centimeter per second. And speed, as we have already learned, that it is a scalar quantity, because distance and time are scalar, so it is a scalar quantity. So how we can further see what is speed, that we can compare the speed of two objects, or to further explain it. For example, I have told you that speed is the distance covered by an object in a given time. That if, for example, if an object moves from point A to B, and it covered distance of 10 meters in 5 seconds, then we will say the speed of the object will be equal to, 10 over 5, that is equal to 2 meter per second. So this is the speed, because that means the distance of 10 meters covered by the object in 5 seconds is known as the speed, that is equal to 2 meter per second, means ki per second it is covering 2 meters. But how we can compare the speed of two objects? For example, there are two cars, and the two cars have to move or to cover the same distance, that is 900 meter. The speed of, or we can say that the time taken by the first car is 30 seconds, and the time taken by the second car is 45 seconds. If we calculate the speed of the two cars, then the speed of the first car will be equal to 900 divided by 30, that will be equal to 30 meter per second. But the speed of second car will be equal to 900 divided by 45, that will be equal to 20 meter per second. Now you can see that the speed of that car who has taken less time is more as compared to the speed of that car who has taken the more time. That means the car who has taken more time has less speed, or the car which has taken more time, which has taken less time, has more speed. So in this way we can say that more the time taken by an object, lesser will be the speed, or less the time taken by an object, more will be the speed. So this is about the speed of the two objects. In this way we can compare. And next is the instantaneous speed. Instantaneous speed is the speed of an object at a particular instant of time during the motion, that is known as instantaneous speed. Means कि एक particular time पे, एक particular instant means एक particular पल पे जो distance है, किसी जो speed है किसी object की, उसको हम बोलेंगे इसकी instantaneous speed. Next is the average speed. Average speed is the total distance covered by the object in the total time. Means for example, if the object have to cover 900 kilometers, say 900 meter or meter we can take, and in the first 10 minutes the object is covering 45 meters. In the next time 10 minutes the object is covering different distance, different amount of distance, say 50. Then in the next 10 minutes it is covering some distance, different amount. It means we have to find out that what will be the average speed. Means कि उसकी जो average speed है वो इन intervals में कितनी रही होगी, तो वो हमने check out कर रहे हैं. तो उसके लिए हमारे पास जो term है, that is known as average speed. That means it is the total distance covered by the object in the journey per unit the total time taken. So this is known as the average speed. Next is some numericals based on the average speed. A bus is moving at a constant speed of 20 meters per second. Speed is 20 meters per second. Here we will write the given things. We will write firstly. This is given. And how much distance it will cover in 60 seconds. That means time is given, that is 60 seconds. So we have to find out the distance. As we know, speed is equal to distance over time. So distance will be equal to velocity multiplied by time, cross multiply. So it will be equal to 20 multiplied by 60, 20 meter per second multiplied by second. It will be equal to 1200 meters. So this is the distance covered by the bus. Next is a truck covers 30 km in first hour, 40 km in second hour, and 60 km in third hour. Now from this it is confirmed that it is non-uniform motion. Here it is uniform motion, constant speed, or we can say that it is uniform motion. But this is non-uniform because in each interval the distance covered is different. So this is the non-uniform motion, and we have to find out the average speed of the truck during the whole journey. So what will be the average speed? Average speed, we have written that it is the total distance covered divided by the total time taken. So here is the total distance is 30 kilometer plus 40 kilometer plus 60 kilometer divided by 3 hours, that will be equal to 1 plus 1 plus 1. So it will be equal to 30 plus 40, 70, 70 plus 60, it will be equal to 130 kilometer divided by 3. So after calculating it, we can find out the average speed in kilometer per hour. That will be approximately equal to 43.33 something kilometers per hour. So in this way we can find out the speed or distance or time taken if we have two quantities out of these three. So next is, which speed is more? Which speed is more, 90 kilometer per hour or 25 kilometer per hour? So firstly we have to make this unit same, because the units are not same. First is the kilometer per hour and next is in the meter per second. So 90 kilometer per hour we have to convert into meter per second. How we can convert? We can just multiply with 5 by 18, as I have already explained in the previous videos, that we can convert kilometer per hour to meter per second or meter per second to kilometer per hour. So kilometer, if we want to change it into meter, then it is equal to 1000 meter, and 1 hour we know that is equal to 3600 second. So it will be equal to 1000 divided by 3600 meter seconds. So after calculating it, it will be equal to 25 meter per second. After solving, we will get 25 meter per second. So both the speeds are equal, because when we have converted this into 25 meter per second, that will be equal to this speed. So both the speeds are equal, no one is more or less. Next is the mass and weight. So what is the concept of mass and weight? Mass, as we know, it is the quantity of matter contained in a body. But weight of a body on earth is the gravitational force with which the bodies are attracted towards the surface of earth. That means this is the type of force. Mass is measured in grams, kilograms. The SI unit of mass is kilogram, but the SI unit of weight is Newton. Mass of a body remains same everywhere. It never changes. ये जो मास है ये हमेशा सेम रहेगा किसी भी प्लेस पे, किसी भी जो जैसे कि अर्थ है, यहाँ पर भी मास उस ऑब्जेक्ट का सेम रहेगा. अगर उसी ऑब्जेक्ट को हम मून पे ले जाए तो उसका वहाँ पर भी मास रहेगा. अगर किसी बॉडी का मास 36 किलोग्राम है अर्थ की सरफेस पे, तो मून की सरफेस पे भी उसका मास जो है 36 किलोग्राम ही रहेगा. बट अगर किसी बॉडी का जो वेट है उसको मान लेते हैं, वेट को हम न्यूटन में एक्सप्रेस करेंगे. वेट अगर 36 न्यूटन है एट द सरफेस ऑफ अर्थ, देन this weight will not be same on the surface of moon, because the gravitational pull on the surface of moon is 1/6 times less than the gravitational pull on the surface of earth. As we know, the value of acceleration due to gravity or the gravitational pull on the surface of earth is 9.8 meter per second square, but on the surface of moon it will be equal to 1/6 of the gravity on the surface of earth. So when we divide it by the 6, we will get the gravity on the surface of moon. So if we are having the weight of the object that is equal to 36 Newton on the surface of earth, then that will not be same on the surface of moon. It will be equal to 36 divided by 6, that will be equal to 6 Newton. That means the weight of the same object will be 6 Newton on the surface of earth. So this is the difference in the weight of the two objects on the different planets. Or next is that mass, as we have already explained, that it remains constant but it changes, and mass of a body can never be zero, but weight of a body can be zero at the center of the earth. It can be zero because there will be gravity will be zero, so the weight of the object will be zero over there. And next is that mass can be measured by using instruments like beam balance, physical balance, as I have already explained, and the weight of the bodies can be measured by using spring balance. This is a device which is used to measure weight of the objects. And spring balance are of two types. First is the extension spring balance and second is the compression spring balance. In the extension spring balance, there is a hook at one end and the other end is fixed. When we attach some weight at the hook, then the spring in this type of spring balance will get expand, and due to that the pointer will move here, and accordingly we can note down the reading of the weight. But in the compression type, this works on the principle of compressing of the spring, because when we place some objects on the surface of this compressor or on the compression type spring balance, then the spring in this type of spring balance will get compressed, and accordingly we will get the reading on the monitor. So in this way we can measure the weight of the objects by using this spring balance. So I can show you here also. Then this is there will be the difference. There is some difference between the two types of spring balances. Here you can see this is the compression type spring balance. When you put load on this over this spring balance, then the spring in this type of spring balance will get compressed, and due to that reading will be monitored on the screen. And this is the spring balance. You can see here I have already explained the construction of this. So I hope the topics are clear to you. Thank you.